Trey Augustine may be the best goalie that Detroit has in the system. A tandem with Augustine and Kosa could be an incredible strength for this team going forward. Last year, Augustine turned down his entry-level contract for the second time. The team is going to offer it again this year, and if for any reason he decides not to sign, Augustine could become an unrestricted free agent after next season and walk away. The team may be forced to consider trading their best goaltending prospect. This is your 7-Minute Wings. Welcome back to the Red Wings Report with Strings and Pucks. This is Jeremy Laura. Please click the like button, and if you haven't yet, please click subscribe. Head over to hockeyhotstove.com. I write the Red Wings column. You can read news and information about the other 31 teams in the league. It was an odd, quiet day with nothing happening at the Olympics yesterday, so today we're going to talk a little bit more about prospects and trades. And today I'm focusing on Trey Augustine. Whenever I've talked about Augustine, there's usually plenty of discussion, so I want to be absolutely clear. I honestly believe Augustine is the best goalie in the system right now. As long as he's willing to sign his deal, I don't even want to consider trading this player. So I'm going to know within a second if someone actually watched this video or just read the description and made a comment. I'm coming from this as someone who wants to see Trey Augustine sign with the Detroit Red Wings and be the team's starting goalie in the future. Last summer, the Red Wings offered Augustine his ELC for the second time, and for the second time, Augustine declined. Trey is passionate about playing for Michigan State University, and he wants to win an NCAA championship. This year, after the NCAA season is finished, Detroit will offer the contract one more time. If Augustine gives any indication that he's not going to sign, I feel like they need to consider trading him at that point, and I hope it doesn't come down to that. This was written in Pro Hockey Rumors yesterday. The Red Wings have selected at least one player in the first round for 13 consecutive years. Not all of those have landed, though it's been enough for Detroit to restock its cupboards. Assuming an acquiring team wouldn't expect the Red Wings to reach the Stanley Cup Final or even the Eastern Conference Final, their first-round selection this year could have significant value with the expectation that it falls to around the 20 to 25 mark. With their numerous first-round picks, Detroit can trade some prospects depending on the magnitude of additions they want to make. The Red Wings' biggest trade chips come from between the pipes. Detroit has one of the best goaltending prospects not currently in professional hockey. Trey Augustine, 20, is in his third year at Michigan State University. He's got a 26-0 record with a .932 save percentage and a 1.96 goals against. Coupled with a pair of gold medals from the World Junior Championships, Augustine could fetch a massive return at the deadline. Famously, the Florida Panthers used Devin Levi and Spencer Knight to acquire Sam Reinhart and Seth Jones, respectively, each of whom had a hand in their back-to-back Stanley Cup championships. And it goes on to talk about some of the other prospects. The haul for Trey Augustine could be massive. And again, to be clear, I don't want to move on from Augustine. However, it would behoove Yzerman to sit down with Augustine's agent and get a firm yes or no on whether or not he plans on signing his ELC this year. If Augustine's group comes back with a maybe, that's a problem in my opinion. MSU games, if you're not aware of this, constantly have NHL scouts at them. And that's what made the drama so interesting around Isaac Howard last year. If you weren't keeping track of this, Isaac Howard, he was a draft pick of the Tampa Bay Lightning. He refused to sign his entry-level deal last year when Tampa Bay wouldn't commit to putting him on the main roster with enough games left to burn the first year of his ELC. That forced the Tampa Bay Lightning to find a trade partner, which they did with Edmonton. So Howard essentially said, "You'll either trade me or I'm going to walk away." And Augustine watched this whole thing go down. And even though it's tampering, clearly multiple teams had made it clear they wanted to see Isaac Howard on their roster. Trey Augustine knows that he could sign with pretty much any team in the NHL if he wants to. He's a Michigan native. He grew up rooting for the Red Wings. All of that feels unlikely, but still, if you can't get a solid commitment out of Augustine or his group, you have to look at trading him. So if you're not aware of this, if you haven't followed NCAA hockey, NCAA players cannot sign their entry-level deal with their NHL team and stay in college. They have to leave. The second they put pen to paper and get that signing bonus, a player can no longer play in the NCAA. Players can be drafted before they go to college. And after 4 years, NHL teams lose their rights to their players. Somebody had argued with me about this a few months ago. After next season, Trey Augustine can become an unrestricted free agent and sign with any team he wants to. Detroit will just lose his rights if he holds out through next season. This has become a loophole for players, and like I mentioned with Isaac Howard, we've already seen it play out for someone who decides they don't want to sign with the team that drafted them. This is the only path a player can take where a team has no options. You can sign a player who stays in junior, like Carter Bear. He's already signed his entry-level deal, or plays in Europe. The thought of Augustine not signing feels like an unlikely scenario. Like I said, he grew up a Red Wings fan. But again, Steve Yzerman and the club need to be communicating with this player. And we'll know within a couple of months whether or not Augustine will sign his entry-level deal. Honestly, this is a conversation Yzerman has to have even now. If Augustine's group says absolutely, he wants to be a Red Wing, he just wants to get this NCAA championship, then there's no reason to even have this conversation. Again, let me be clear, I don't want to trade this player. You could have one of the best goaltending tandems in the NHL, but if for any reason you get an indication that Trey Augustine isn't going to sign his ELC this summer, it's time to start moving forward. And that's the moment when Detroit's top goaltending prospect becomes their top trading chip. This is your 7-Minute Wings.